today. We're going to look at some information that I brought from the AWS Solutions Architect Coffee Chat series, and also some other things I read and I thought it right to share with you all. So firstly, if you're going to do something, do it right or you don't do it at all. This is one of the quotes I got from the Amazon Career Day 2021. I thought it interesting as well to share with you all. So there are some tidbits. There was this manager during the chat series that he was asked, okay, what are the things that you would want to see, you want to have as a out of the skills do you need as a solutions architect? And the first thing he said there should be a technical breadth and depth. We are going to explain that during the presentation. So the skills, basically you should have skills around networking, compute, storage, and others. So we'll look into that. And the next one was should have the alignment with the Amazon leadership principles. We'll also look into details on what that means. And if it's your first time you're getting it, what are the Amazon leadership principles? Then he also spoke about leadership. And as I said, we'll look into each of these parts during the course of the presentation. So first of all, starting up with the technical depth and breadth. So Amazon Solutions Architect present the call said, at least you should show some technical breadth and depth, meaning that if you have skills in networking, for example, if you have deep knowledge in networking, that can be described as depth in networking. But if you know nothing at all apart from networking, it means your there's breadth or technical breadth is lacking.
Okay, the depth and the breadth.
Exactly. So the first thing for technical breadth, this is something else reading from Amazon. I'll share the link as well with you all. Was then you should have networking fundamentals, that's how information is transmitted from digital bits to an end user. How does the internet work? How do you send and receive messages from your computer to another computer? Another part is storage. Like you have an idea what are the different types of storage and their distinction. Why would you use one storage option over another? And what type of data can be stored in what type of storage? We also have database and analytics. What are the components of the database? Different types of database and distinction. When would you use one database? And lastly, how do you prepare your data set for analysis? And how do you analyze the data set? We also have skills in security, which is what are common security threats? What are some traditional security procedures? Yeah, and for example, yeah, what are some examples of cyber attacks? An operating system, we have such things like purpose of an operating system, fundamental components of an operating system. How do you increase your operating system? There's also the skill set on architecture, development or infrastructure operating system. Here we have like what are the traditional tiers of an application, and yeah, and so on and so forth. Like what are the components of the app you developed, and some challenges you face while developing a particular app. Last but not the least, you also have the there's programming skills, like what programming language are you most familiar with? What are some basic concepts about this language? What makes it different from other languages? And yeah, many others. So what as we kept on the, I think it's mostly Mr. Banjika that's emphasized on that in order for you to get this maybe breadth, technical depth or breadth, there's this skills builder, AWS skill builder. I think the link has been shared a couple of times in this forum. You could look at the courses there to maybe get me fundamentals of storage in case if they approach you concerning storage, you should have some fundamental, you should have like fundamental knowledge on that, or maybe even deep dive. Like an example was identity and access management. There's this course on deep dive with security in regards to identity and access management, where you get to look into more about what IAM is, not only about user groups and roles, and yeah, there are many more to IAM than that. So Amazon Skill Builder, it's a recommended platform in order for you to get the skills. So another thing was the leadership principles. And what is very peculiar about Amazon is they have this set of principles, which most of the time during the interview process, Amazonians want to see if you align with these principles. Some of them are, you have customer obsession, learn and be curious, thinking big, high and develop, deep. We have others like deep dive, deliver results. In this regard, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in the leadership principles. So there's a link here for you to get more about what each principles mean. Like what are they looking for with each principles? With customer obsession, that's really the one that it's more of known for Amazon. They're obsessed about their customers. Most of the AWS web services we have today are because maybe a customer said, okay, he couldn't do this, he wants a service that can help him do this. And with that, a service was being created. And during the chat series, a manager as well as solutions architect said the 5 main leadership principles he will be looking for in a candidate that wants to be a solutions architect would be a customer obsession, learn and be curious, hire and develop, deep dive, and deliver results. He said all are important, but these are the ones he was going to be looking for. Now, the other thing he said was he'll be looking for like leadership skills. The question is, okay, what have you done in your organization or business to change the things? Like maybe have you resolved a certain approach to project? Have you resolved some nagging things that the business has or your organization has? Those are the key things he's going to be looking for. To summarize, there were 3 main things: technical depth and breadth, alignment with the leadership principles, and the third part is leadership. Another topic discussed was the interview process, specifically for a solutions architect role. First of all, I have the phone screening, which is about 90 minutes. Here, they're trying to get the technical foundations, your technical foundations. Also try to see your strength and your gaps. That's why aligning with the leadership principles matter, because in case if it's okay to have gaps, like you're not expected to know everything, but that's when the leadership principle of learn and be curious come into place. Because if you recognize that, okay, you have weakness in this, are you curious? Do you in any way in your career, do you show that you have curiosity, you have the willingness to learn? Then They'll also be looking at your experience on the applied, on the various technologies, yeah, you used. Now, the second set of the interview is that would be, because the first one was behavioral, phone screening, and in case you pass, you have the second interview that goes on site, or because of Corona, is virtually now. It's 5 to 6 hours, and they're trying this behavioral question, try to check, okay, how your mind works. During this interview process, they can reevaluate your technical knowledge, like from an architectural point of view. And there's also a type of approach recruiters expect you when telling your stories. That means that's the STAR method. I think we'll look at it in the next slide. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and results. And this method helps you like keep your story organized. It's used to tell your story, or more like your experience and the role you play. That is, what was the situation in a certain project? What tasks were you to do? What were the actions you took? And what results did you have at the end? Now, as said during the chat series, Amazonians are really very analytical. So you'll be expected to give like, okay, to answer questions on how did you rate it, how did you measure the results at the end of that task? Like, how did you measure the success of the results? What metric or data proved that that project was a success? So that's basically all on the interview process. There were questions asked on the type of solutions architect roles. And with Amazon, you have, first of all, account solutions architect, or SAs. This is kind of a generalist. He talks more about the entire breadth of the platform with the customer and interacts most of the time with the specialist team that takes us to the specialist SA. So the specialist solutions architect has a deep knowledge in different tech domains like database, network, and he also have industries, knowledge on industries like healthcare, industry expertise and healthcare. I think that was the example he gave. Lastly, we have partner SAs, and generally was mentioned, okay, Amazon have different partners that are divided into system integrators and independent software vendors, or ISVs. So system integrators integrate and manage AWS environments on behalf of their customers, and with the ISVs, they help customers to build their solutions build and deploy their solutions in AWS. The partner SA could be typed to the system integrator or the ISV. I think more on partner SA, I'll need to research on that because so I think that was basically all of my what I got from the chat series and some other research I got. Thanks for your attention, and some references in case you want to read more on some things I shared. So this is the floor. If you have any comments or questions, you're free. Hello, was I speaking alone? Just to be sure. Thank you.
You're not talking alone. I was amazed looking at some of the points that were raised there, and most especially on a personal note, I would like to appreciate you for having taken our time to bring us this feedback and at the same time share with us these tips. You know, that is valuable time and it's worth appreciated. Most of the tips would necessarily be taken down. I was looking at something, I think around the sixth slide, which I did not understand. I tried to even go refer it. The difference between time and space, what is actually meant in relation to AWS.
Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen.
I think that was about the sixth page.
Let me share my screen. Okay, you said the sixth slide.
About that difference between but
I think it should be one of these that you're talking about.
Just you are a little bit too fast.
Okay, let me go slow. Yeah, let me know.
Okay. Not yet. Not as well. Okay, I think that was on the last slide on which we are. Okay, the difference between time and space complexity. I tried to understand that in relation to data structures.
Please, if someone is saying that, I'm kind of lost.
Chabin, just a moment. What's the question again?
The question is, there was a mention about the time and space complexity. I was like, in relationship to data, tried going through it, but I did not understand as well what was actually meant by that. Okay. Do you understand what I mean, President?
Not yet so sure. It would depend on maybe the context in which it was written. So I'm not like so sure on that. So that's
Go to storage. Let's see.
It's not storage, it's above, yeah.
Okay, the next page down, please.
But do you in your slide, do you remember having that listed? Or time?
Yeah, I'm not sure I had that listed, but I could be mistaken. I don't think I had something about time.
So, okay.
Actually, there is no problem. It's taking much time.
No worries.
It's just that I went to research. I went to Google it, and I could not get it.
Okay.
Precisely what that.
Yeah. So.
means.
Yeah, you just look through your slides later while we continue, and then we'll come back to it if you find that. Then we then can come back to that point.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. If see Joe has the hand up, let's hear from Joe. Then we'll come back to
that. I would like to thank you too for this brilliant presentation and the important knowledge that she was able to take time to gather for us. Knowledge is always so good and valuable when you have it, because when you don't have it, you don't know what you're missing. So thank you for this. And I think that we'll have this as a reference point to always check through to see where we stand and what we need. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for your feedback.
Great. While we just as we're waiting for more people to comment, I want to add that as I know, especially for those who are starting and doing cloud without an IT background, the kind of challenges you can have. But I will always say you can, rather than being so crowded, with the, like you see the presentation that you have shown, the foundational skills that you need, right? You can decide, and for example, know that, okay, what do I know about networking? There is a foundational um, playlist on YouTube I shared, where which video is about 13 minutes, and it takes you with the fundamentals of networking step by step. If you are watching that playlist, say just 13 minutes a day or 15, and reading, you'll be surprised how far you can learn networking. The other thing goes with operating system, right? Operating system is Windows. Many people know Windows, but how really does it function? And Linux is the other one that is mostly used in big enterprises. Um, there's a YouTube series also on introduction to operating system, and it's about 16 to 17 minutes for each video, and I see it goes about 77 short videos. I'm not sure you need to finish that series. If you go to about 30 videos, you will learn a lot about operating system. The same goes for storage. On Skills Builder, as I highlighted last time, when I've been my looking at all the certification courses that help, I can guarantee that everyone here can definitely pass the practitioner course, and I know that if everyone puts in the right energy, they will pass the associate as well. Um, but what I notice is, with time, there's some lack of some foundational knowledge in some of those material. You can definitely pass, but there could be some questions that you are having. So AWS Skills Builder, when you look at their courses, if you look at the course they have, like for the foundational course for the practitioner, the course is about 17 hours, right? So, and there's a course on databases. There's a course that they now have a course on storage. And actually, when you finish those storage courses, you have a badge. You can see they treat S3 for about 3 hours, right? But if you look at what we do in the courses that they have in the practitioner and the associate that focus, you don't see S3 being treated for up to 3 hours. But if you can do courses like that, one thing that you will realize is you really get that necessary foundational course. Um, so my advice is for those beginning, don't be so much in a hurry, like, okay, just know that you have to build a foundation, and a solid foundation is always good. So when you are having all of those things and then having your certification, you'll realize that that depth and that breadth that you did talk about, you will definitely have it, right? Such that you're not just looking. And remember, you must, when you have those foundational skills, then you can specialize and go that deep, maybe in networking, or go deep in storage, or go deep in database. But having fundamentals on those foundational courses is necessary. So what we did is, on our Slack, I hope everyone is on Slack. If you are not on Slack, make sure that you join. Rather than sharing some of those courses that we have been sharing on the Telegrams group, we have created a channel for foundational skills and videos. Any interesting video that we think that is good for the community, we share on that channel, and then you can always go back and know where to have access. There was a time, I think the other week, we just talked a lot about programming here, and I'm very sure that we just want everything to settle down. We'll definitely, as a group, pick out a course. There's a course that is coming out in April. It's going to be free. It's offered by, I've forgotten the name of the university, programming for beginners. And the course is going to be for free. And the best thing that can happen is if everyone in this group register for that course, and then while we study together, and so everyone attends that session. If there are questions, we can be discussing it. That will be the best, because I think everyone will then have access. There's a course, 100 days of Python. We were talking the other time, but my the other thing I was thinking is, it's only on Udemy. So then people who cannot buy that course, they won't have access and they won't participate with the study. So that's the two options we have. Either we go for the free course that will be offered by the university online, everyone registers and we do that, or we go for the Udemy course, which then puts those who don't have the possibility to buy the Udemy course, they will then be left out. So, but if we do fundamentals together, any person who wants to build up his or her own knowledge will definitely know what else to do. Yeah. So enough of just touching on the foundational skills and also what we should be doing. I think yeah, you did talk about about programming skills. We talked about what was that I think I was missing? Not really. Okay, yeah. So any other comments coming in? Let's catch up. You want to add something before we go?
Yeah, I found out what Chadwin was talking about. Moment. Can you see my screen? Yeah, that's it. What's the difference under programming skills? What's the difference between time and space complexities?
Okay, that's on that programming.
Yeah, and yeah, from my research, I got that it's different aspects in calculating the efficiency of an algorithm.
Mhm. Okay.
So I think, yeah, from what I found now, time complexity deals with finding out the computational time of an algorithm, and space complexity deals with finding out how much extra space would be required by the algorithm. I don't know if someone has something else to add, feel free, or need a better explanation.
Thank you very much, lady. And I actually went on Google and typed the difference between time and space. So complexities, I do not see it while you were browsing through the slides, and that is where I wanted like to make reference to other in order to cite myself and be sure that that is what was in the slides.
Mhm.
Thanks for that, and sorry about the stress.
No worries. That wasn't any stress. So,
Thanks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
can I comment? Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
And did you finish speaking? Sorry.
yeah, I
Hello?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with what you were just saying about time and space complexity. It's mostly about theoretical computer science, but yeah, um, this is rarely discussed, in my opinion, in a programming environment. But yeah, it's always good to know, be aware of it. Maybe they do test this for programming jobs, or ask your awareness about this for programming jobs. But yeah, in day-to-day industry, this is something that is not really of I mean, it comes up only in cases where this is or you are dealing with time critical projects or issues that maybe you're launching a space rocket and you need the code to run as fast as possible and attain certain computation as fast as possible in order to make changes in case of emergence as the rocket is moving. So whatever, but yeah, time complexity, as you said, is about how fast an algorithm would compute compared to its equivalent algorithm that do the same thing. Yeah, and space complexity also is more like dealing with space. How much space is required to do the same thing between two different algorithms that solve one problem. Yeah.
Great. Great. Thanks for that input, Chio. Quite
Yeah.
good to know.
And yeah, I also wanted to say that yeah, there was the one interesting aspect I saw about her presentation was this star approach of telling a story. I find it's always good to have this planning of how, if you are asked to narrate something, what steps you should take. I mean, it's if you are supposed to tell me a story about your experience at some job, and we are just body talking. I don't mind the order in which you go with it, but in an interview process, you have to go say it in a way that it makes an impression, right? Like it gives a lasting impression in the interviewer's mind, so that when they go and they are rethinking about, or they are evaluating about you in the background, this story should stay in their mind. The impact it makes should be resounding. It should last long, so that they don't forget about you immediately after the interview. They don't forget about you, what you're capable of after interview. So yeah, this is a good this is some key approach to have in hand, that in the case of certain situation, you are about to tell, you are in an interview process and you are supposed to tell your story, you should follow a certain step-by-step approach to make it relevant even after the interview is over. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for echoing that important again too.
Mhm.
To add to that, when you were speaking, another thing came to mind, which I gathered. It said, okay, when explaining, like saying, okay, what your experience or what role did you play in order to get a particular task done? What was said is it should be, because generally in IT, you mostly work in teams in the projects, not like you're working alone. But when they ask your experience, you should give your role that I did this, not the team and we did this, we programmed an app, we created an app. You should speak about your role, because yeah, in that case, you're allowed to be selfish, so to say. Because the interviewers want to mostly get your role and not the role of your team.
Okay, great, nice. Any more input? Um, any more input for or questions? Just to say. If not, I want to just highlight because yeah, nice to see you, Joachim. Welcome. I noticed Yolanda joined as well. Nice seeing you, Yvonne. Welcome. Good evening. Just as Yvonne and Grace. Um, then I go to the point of, because I know those who are listening, some people maybe who don't yet have experience and you don't know how you're going to get this experience before you even go to talk about what you have done. That's why the emphasis on picking those foundational skills. And what we're also pushing in is we had lab session last Friday. It was very interactive, and thanks to Lady N for that. So what I'll be encouraging everyone is those lab sessions are some of the, it's an introductory level, right? Where you start learning some skills on how things are really done. So it is not just the material that you know, but then those lab sessions on Friday gives you in a position where you develop those fundamental skills. So what we are going to be looking for is every Friday. There are a lot of senior people in our community who have completed right up to the professional architect certification. So we'll be looking for those who will be interested to come up every Friday morning and just demonstrate some particular key fundamental areas for anyone who has joined. So in doing that, the encouragement is we'll push, it will be practice for you, and then at the same time we'll be helping those who are completely new to see the how everything works. But before, while talking about that, I just wanted to show or remind everyone about, this is still in regards to skills. I like this side a lot, but you need to have an AWS account. And if you are doing these workshops, the recommendation is when you are very comfortable, let's say if you finish the networking workshop, it becomes, you can try and have that as a small project you have completed, right? And you actually write out what you did. What this is an 8 hours project. So if you are finished as a solutions architect, as you said, this is a lab that you should be able to complete without, you should spend time and complete this because it brings everything together. If you have this is definitely, like, you can look at this as something. If you are going to an interview, you can really explain that you had this kind, you're able to implement this. You may not necessarily call that as a workshop. You can say, for a customer, this is the kind of task you were able to complete, and you list the tasks that you did here. And if you can actually explain and demonstrate that you understand it completely, there's nothing wrong in that, right? So I encourage, for those who are able to afford it, make sure that you are doing, just say you are doing a lab, one lab um, each week in the minimum. You spend 8 hours trying to learn a lab. There's a lab here for RDS workshop. That's still important. One of the new, I think, yeah, they also, this one I learned about this one also of recent. It's another lab that if you have an AWS account, you can be practicing on. We will be definitely trying to do project work once yeah, time also permit. We just want there are people writing exams now, but when that's over, we'll come back to that. Then for those who don't have an AWS account, we did introduce like this security in AWS on Friday. So we'll be doing these labs every Friday, the ones that we can do maybe from the quick labs, or yeah, could just be someone trying to explain different concepts based on the material we have covered. So it will not be on something that we have not yet done. Like last week, it was identity and access management. So each time on Friday, we'll have a lab and we'll just treat on the topics we have covered so far. This is a very, for those who attended the lab session, you could be able to see is the same environment, the same interface that you have if you are working as yeah, using AWS, the official AWS account. So there are different labs here. There are some that are referred to, for example, as let me see. There's a lab like you'll see for solutions architect associate. So if you are like working for the solutions architect, there are labs that are specifically meant for the associate level, 4 hours. There's a lab for the professional level, 4 hours. But you need some credit. There's a method to get some free credits when possible. You need to join LinkedIn and join the Quick Labs, and follow Quick Lab, the company on LinkedIn. They always advertise how to get, maybe they have a course, and they're offering credits. You can actually register for the course. You get credits, but you can use that credits for a different lab, right? Because the course may be on skills that are not important. So talking about developing skills and really having those hands-on, these are the areas that are highly recommended. We'll try as a group to push that on Friday, and then individually, everyone still has to be pushing that as well. Yeah. So those are the things I wanted to highlight again. Any questions or worries here or input? There's someone with Galaxy Tab. Who is that? It's so quiet.
I bet if I throw a pig in this call, it can be heard.
We are digesting all you said, President, don't mind. And
Okay.
or maybe people are scared of big professionals that are around. I see Mrs. Yolanda is around as well.
Okay.
I'm shying away talking so that she shouldn't pose me a question. Mrs. Yolanda, good evening.
Nice. If you're talking, you're mute. Maybe she's not. Pascal, nice to see you. Good
Hi,
evening.
good evening.
Good
evening, everyone.
Good evening, everybody.
Right.
You're now putting me on the spotlight, right?
Chadwin is putting you on the spotlight.
Chadwin.
People we look up to, we need to, make them know. I don't want to start telling you, giving you compliments when you know what I mean. I better say it when you can hear them and know, in order to either improve or to either like intensify them. Congratulations once more.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
Actually, there is nothing to be scared of, Chadwin. We are all doing well, one day at a time. And as just like what Banjika has mentioned, we just have to take our time and really get the foundationals very well. No hurry. Do a lot of lab work. And that's it. It's going to help a lot. I believe that at WirfonCloud, we are really, really surrounded by powerful teams for the professional, for the associate, for the cloud practitioner. And so I have no fear. I'm just too confident that everyone here is capable of making it at the end of the day. So yeah,
Great.
that's it.
You're very right there. Thanks for Thanks for those encouraging words. We are following in your people's footsteps.
Slowly but surely,
Very
we
much
shall all
so.
get there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good. Good. Let's hear from, yeah, Pascal, you were saying something. Good evening. Nice having you.
Yeah, good evening, Pressy. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, like somebody said there, if some of us are quiet, it's just because we are new and
I know.
we still have like so much to manage. We are still trying to digest what you people are sharing. And I want to thank our sister so much for the sharing she just did, the presentation she made.
Mhm,
That was awesome. It's very, very inspiring for some of us who are new.
mhm.
And I believe we are going to pick slowly but surely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's true. Just repeating myself, but let's all know that cloud jobs are not going to run away, right? It's not like if you don't have it today, it may not be available tomorrow. There is still,
Yes.
yeah, there's still a lot of companies that still have to move to the cloud. Very soon you'll be hearing cloud native. That means companies that start up completely in the cloud. So, as I say, if you take your time, like um, I hope people have registered in Skill Builder, but if you take your time, I'm just trying to look. Let's say you go to Skill Builder and you finish your course on database, take storage, you finish that, take networking. It's about 16 hours in a course in networking. Don't be worried. I mean, you can take maybe all that time, maybe it will lead to, I don't know, 6 months, depending on the time you are doing. You realize that, yeah, with the certification that you have, you realize that you really be strong on that. So yeah, the reason, as I said earlier, when we share most of the information, like on a Friday like this, is because there are different levels. There are people here on level 100, level 200, level 300. Level 100 and 200 are like beginners. So when we share that information is to make sure that we are covering everyone, right? But do not,
Yeah.
do not be overwhelmed. Just pick, if in the worst case, if you don't know what to do as a beginner, yeah, the Friday labs are very good enough. When you work with the team, and then you do some for quick labs, very soon you will also start realizing that, okay, yeah, that's it, and we will all be surprised where we can be in another year's time. Yeah, there's always be growth. So, Chadwin, you have your hand up. You want a question, or whether you are coming in?
I actually wanted to comment on the skill builder link that you shared. I also, on that note, would like to appreciate your endless effort in forwarding those links. They are really very helpful. I must say, last week, that was Thursday, I registered for the skill build on the skill builders website, and last week they were offering uh, a topic, or they were working on cloud practitioner. It was for me like a revision. I consciously registered, and I must say the nature in which they teach and the teacher as well. He was he was moderate in his tone and the speed, and as well he gave a lot of hints and simplified himself in the explanations. At the end of the day, I got a certificate, though I already have certificate in cloud practitioner, but it was for me more like revision, more like revising some of the concepts, some of the services that I've passed through. But it was like very enriching because you know it's like eating from your grandmom's plate, or you guys can understand with me. It tastes differently, despite the fact that I have a cloud practitioner course. Looking at how they teach,
Mm-hmm.
you still understand the concepts in a different way. And after that day, I must say I'm still a little bit, let me say, I still shy away from lecturing cloud practitioner or lecturing cloud in general. But I came that day and tried to explain some of the concepts to the child. I don't want to start embarrassing myself from up there, but understanding the concepts in that fine manner that you can explain, in the simplest of terms and even try to use synonyms with the words you use. I found that very interesting, and I would encourage other people as well to register on LinkedIn and register on those cloud skill builder classes or sessions. They are really like helpful.
Yeah.
I just wanted to comment on that. And thank you once more, Presi, for having shared that with us.
Great. No, I think your experience and confirmation for those who are wondering, skills builder link have been shared again on our chat. Yeah. It's good to have you say that or share your experience. So yeah, while we're talking on that, yeah, Ngwaada, let me just come to you. But so what I was sharing, for example, if you notice here, this is the skills builder website. There are courses. So if you look here, there's a course here on relational database. This is about 20 hours, right? This may always look completely long, but remember, if you're a beginner and they take it from a way, this is taught by AWS. The material was used mostly to train their internal staff and people, but then they release it to the public. So this is a course on relational database. If you finish this course in 20 hours, imagine if you are putting 1 hour a day, or let's say 4 hours a week. So in 5 weeks, you can finish a course and really have the depth and breadth in, let's say, relational database. We'll go with a learning plan for this, a developer learning plan. There's one on networking, and there is one on another one on foundational courses. And then when you finish them, you can also do the exam readiness courses. Let's say you are doing a practitioner or you are doing the associate. I shared this for those who are doing the associate. I don't know, Judith, if you are doing the associate, maybe you may want to share your experience on that. This is the one on Cloud Foundation. So there are, for exam readiness, there are as well courses here that you can complete, and they can be of good help as extra knowledge. And this is for free, right? You need an internet access. But before we go to maybe Judith, I noticed Guada, you have your hand up, please. Come in.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It was just a quick question for you, Benjika. I wanted to ask, we talk about the levels, about the levels up to the 100 levels. I don't know if it's you that teaches all the levels, or you're just teaching just the WIFON, just the one for the beginners. And then also, I want to know if if you're the one giving all the lessons, then if we finish with this, the one for the beginners, then we're gonna continue with you.
Right. Okay. You see, like, because you are doing the practitioner now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So when I said level 100, 200, and 300, what I meant is when you go to that was when I was talking about the labs, right? But I just want to show that then still answer your question on. If you notice when I was talking about the labs, let me share my screen. So when you go to these labs, if you notice, they'll write level 200, right? You see, there's level 200, there's some level 300. If you are completely new, level 100 and at times level 200 is a lab you should be able to do. So if you are finished, like you are practitioner, you should be able to, like, now this one talks about Terraform Cloud, so you will need some knowledge on Terraform, but you will just look for courses that touch services that you have covered or some of the service that you have done on level 200.
Okay.
Yeah, so level 100 and 200 is always for beginners, then level 300. Regarding, yeah, so that is what the first part of the answer. And then part of what we are doing here as well, level 100, it will be done by different people. I'm starting the courses, but after, when I finish this week, the following week, there are different people here who have completed the Solutions Architect Associate and also doing the professional certification. So they'll also come in to help teach even in the practitioner, right? So I will not be the only one to do the practitioner course. There will be people who will come in to fill in, and there will be people who will also revise with us. And then for the labs as well, people will be coming in on Friday. We really hope more people who have already gone advanced will be coming in every Friday so that we do labs together to make sure that everyone is seeing the practical nature of what we are talking about. Then after you finish, after everyone finished at the practitioner level, when you go to the associate, we have a different approach, which is just more of to keep people motivated and also to develop skills. Because if you are going to work in the field of cloud computing, teamwork is important, presentation skills are important. So when you will go to the associate level, you have the course that we recommend that everyone have. Then the course is divided into with the sections of the course is divided to members of the that are registered for that group, and they will then come and they will study the different topics, and when the time comes, they present what they have studied, and then everyone contribute as well. So everyone is studying the material. Then when you come, you present, and then the people who have studied as well, they contribute something to add if you have forgotten something, or to ask questions in areas that you didn't understand. And then of course there will always be someone in the advanced level that is in the group to maybe help in questions that no one understands at all. Those who are in the associate program now, we have been doing that, they will understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's how the course is structured. Our community works.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. And then also I want to thank Lady Neyu for sharing what she read with us. So I am so grateful. I just hope I will pick up little by little.
You will. You will. Just take it bit by bit, yeah. And you'll be there as well.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Good. And always remember there are many people, for those who are new, there are many people who joined here 1 year ago and they knew nothing about cloud, right? And today they are where they are. So just know that your own story, picking up and doing bit by bit can take you to where you should be. Welcome, Maribu Bapi. Nice to see you around. Yeah, I noticed you joined. All right. So it's more of more chill out questions, um, thoughts. That's welcome. Or I would like to know. I know many people are busy in different angles. Uh, did anyone do something in the area of cloud, or there's something someone did and wants to share?
Okay, maybe I should just speak about what I did that was in regards to a skill builder course on identity and access management. It was really very interesting. As I said, that was a deep dive in security with identity and access management, like security best practices if you're using IAM. And sincerely, I really found that really helpful for me.
Sorry, you want to bring up that course and share, just to maybe put people see what you're talking about. Just sign IAM.
Sure, sure. Okay, let me bring that up.
Um, where is Judith? Is not around. Okay, I think she's gone. She was doing. Joe, are you there? Sokumla. I can't see. Maybe her line is disturbing. Um, I wanted to find out. I know she was doing the exam readiness course on skill builder for solutions architect associate. I would have loved her to share her experience as well. Maybe those who are preparing for the exams also get an idea of what it is to do that. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if we can. Yeah, here's actually the course. I can share the name of the course in the chat if someone wants to look into it. So basically, there's also some areas where they have questions to test your knowledge, and they kind of bring a scenario. The scenario is the one of a member of Amazon of a certain company, Sarah. They speak about permissions, policies, and it's really quite interesting. That's all I'll say. It's really something, yeah, to try to anyone try to go with it, because first of all, they speak about the foundation, fundamentals, the overview of IAM. Then before they start going to deep dive in access control, they say itself, there are labs which are quite optional, but which are optional because to get the certificate, because in order for you to do that, you need to have a quick labs account, and yeah, some of the labs are 13 credits, so it can be labs up to 15 credits. Yeah, then you have questions, sometimes you have literature to read, sometimes you have videos to watch, or yeah, I was looking for an example. We really get to read as the courses, the deep dive into IAM and the best practices. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Okay. As I was saying, sorry. Yeah. If you look at the so we have already done identity and access management topic for the practitioner. My recommendation is, if you want to just have some extra knowledge, that is something that you can just look in as well. Also with the links we also shared when we were covering that, and for those who are in the associate level, that's also a very good course to look at. So as we finish each topic, there will always be something somewhere that you can add to broaden your knowledge, right? So that you don't just focus on yeah, you just want the material for the exam and then you pass. The reason why you should have a certification is because you need to be able to do a job, and if you miss the essentials, then yeah, you may not end up having that. So it will always depend on how you program and schedule yourself to make sure that, yeah, look at something. Like if you have done if you go and look at that course, I'm not sure, I don't know how long is that again. Do you remember?
8 hours.
Okay, it's 8 hours. So you may decide to do a certain part of that depending on how far you can go to quick labs, do a practice lab. Then you are building. IAM is very important in AWS. You see it right up to the advanced level. It governs everything. So building very strong skills on it will be a big plus, not just for the exam, but for your work life as well. Yeah. Okay.
It,
Nice.
it it's I am a job role in itself. If you get hired with the AWS.
If you can have a job role focused just on IAM.
Yeah.
Um, I won't say I've not seen that, but I know that most people who work like in the area of security, because it's for security reasons, you'll see that they will be very yeah, for very big companies where policy management is very broad. You could see people specialize just on in the area of security in doing that. It's very possible where some of their role will be heavily on that, and maybe other tasks around yeah, other tasks around security.
Yeah, because I see this showing up. It shows up even in CISSP, other
Yes.
courses.
Yes.
I am in itself shows up everywhere.
Yeah, it is. It is. It can be. I have seen because okay, when I was talking about IAM here, I was talking when you are focused on AWS cloud computing, but there are other IT job roles where you see identity and access management comes, which is a much more broader aspect than the one we have in AWS. And I think I've seen job roles that are for identity and access management, but not just focus on AWS, but in a much more broader concept. Yeah.
Okay.
Broader view. Yeah. But even in AWS, as I say, because writing policies, at times, yeah, like if you notice how policies are written, how to decide how they should be placed, how to clean them up when not needed. Yeah, it can be, and because when you don't have the policies written correctly, what can happen is you have a security breach, right? People, so security, those working in security can have a lot of work doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, great. So, I say I don't have, I don't see many people having anything to bring up, but I wanted to, let me see. Um, so this, what about our sessions? We had two sessions of solutions architect, as you said, this week, and we had a lab combined for the practitioner and the associate, since it was a fundamental lab. I noticed it would be nice to hear some feedback. Mike, I know you were at the lab session.
Uncle Ban, I just pointing out, it seems like you forgot the recording after your use presentation, or is it intentional?
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You don't want to be on the recording too.
No. Usually you don't record the Saturday meetings, right?
I
So,
see. Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah. No, it's okay. Right. I don't know if any comments on what we did so far, just to get some feedback. I know Mike.
With respect to, please, with respect to what I got disconnected. If you notice, I got lost.
Okay, I noticed. Yeah, so I was just talking about the week we have had with the Solutions Architect Associate and the lab session we had together combined, just to hear comments on that. I know Titus, you are there, Titus was there, Mike, as well as Bobby was there, yeah.
For me, I didn't attend the lab session on Friday, but so far the presentations on Wednesday and Thursday were really quite good. Uh, and the sorry, I forgot his name, but he was
Pride, I think
quite
it was Pride.
Pride. Yeah, he seemed quite prepared. He took his time to go through his material and did a really good presentation. Yeah, and also the feedback, the aspect of you also showing example using AWS live and during the after the presentation, it's quite helpful. So people can also connect the knowledge they just got with what they are seeing. You know, sometimes what you see lasts longer in your mind than what you heard. Yeah. So for me, it's going so well. Yeah.
Good. Keep the motivation going. We're back on Wednesday. Good to hear that you're
I hope that I don't miss my alarm again.
that is your alarm, right? Yeah. Okay. I think Mike was coming up. Yeah.
Yes, I was coming up. Yeah, it was an interesting session. I will say I'll give a round of applause to Lady Anne for what she's doing, because it was quite informative session. And also something I'm curious about is, given that they're doing the combined sessions, the associate and the practitioners, are they covering the same topics? Because if they're doing a combined lab, how does that, given the depth of the materials for the different level, how would that be addressed if they have
Yes.
to do combined labs?
Right. No, that's a fair question. Actually, on Friday, I happened that I had already completed I am user and groups at the practitioner level, and then was what was the topic that was also on the associate. So we had that. But as we go along, I know for the practitioner, if you're thinking they don't need so much depth in the labs, but as I say, if you are in the cloud, you will at some point need it. So what we'll do is we'll always try to make sure that the labs are at the point, where we can explain, even if someone is, because there's not so much there is a difference when you think of the associate and the practitioner, but you can do the labs in such a way that if someone is still at the beginner's level, we can always explain those things. So level 100 and level 200 can definitely attend the same session. And yeah, so it's just to keep, yeah. And I'm sure if someone is reading ahead, right, and really like, if someone is really into it, we have enough time. When we have classes, Monday and Tuesday is the practitioner, so after that we have almost 6 days before we meet again, um as for the classes. But for the labs, you have to, people have 3 days, and I'm sure we can, yeah, we can always address that such that it's not so difficult. Yeah, thing.
So, the associate level, is it the one that's on Sunday and Monday?
No, associate is on Wednesday and Thursday. The associate
Wednesday and
classes.
Thursday.
Yeah, we have
Is it
Monday.
possible to attend both of them?
Um, definitely it is, but as I always say, it's always good to build that foundational knowledge. It's possible, right? So you have Monday to Thursday, then, right? It's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
So have the
So
practitioner of
maybe I
Monday
will
and.
I will
Mhm,
plead
go
with
ahead.
your with Lady Yu Yu. I'm getting used to that name because she's really like on top of it. I'll plead with her
Right.
to add me on the associate side too. I think I don't know if I'm there
You
already.
have the time.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Then you'll be
I think
welcome.
we'll end up remembering that name Yu Yu for forever.
That's a nice one.
How do you say the name, please?
I said the Yu Yu or
What?
New or I don't know how
Yeah.
you say.
Please say it again.
Well, I just know
So
that she's a lady.
You.
She's a
Yeah,
royal lady.
it sounds good. I want to learn the pronunciation you are using.
no, okay. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Right, good. So we'll have that, doc, and then we'll see how to go. Yeah. Um, there's Madam Grace here. Nice to see you, Madam Grace. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm putting you on the spotlight. How is it down at Zimbabwe? I
I
hope
think
good.
I mixed up with my time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Right. And
I
came a bit
missed a
late.
bit.
Yeah,
Yes. I was
no
earlier
worries.
on and then I discovered it wasn't on.
Mm-hmm.
I waited a bit and then I left. So I got mixed up with the time.
What's the time at your end at the moment? I think 1 hour ahead.
We are 1 hour ahead of Cameroon,
Right, okay.
20,
That's why.
22, 25.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you came 1 hour earlier. No worries. Yeah, no worries. So, how do you find your cloud journey? I know you said, wow, there's much. How do you find it started?
For now, no comment.
Okay. You're taking it one step at a time.
It is
Right.
very cloudy for me.
Very cloudy as the cloud itself.
I've never
That's,
heard that kind of comment. It's good.
yeah,
Very
Oh
cloudy.
dear.
yeah. No, that's not surprising. But just know that there are people here who started and it was cloudy the same, but where they are
Okay.
now, yeah. Even Lady New York, she started when it was still cloudy as well. But now, after a year, she grabs it, just like Leo, just like Yolanda. So these are people that can help inspire you. Good.
Very
I,
encouraging.
mhm. Um, Zo, good evening, good afternoon. I'm sure it's afternoon at your end. Welcome. I don't know if she can hear me. Um,
Hi, well, good evening. Oh, it's afternoon for me. Sorry.
it's afternoon for you, right? I thought so. Right.
Yeah.
Good. How are you doing so far?
Yeah. So far, I think I'm way behind. I need to catch up.
Right.
I just need to like push myself harder.
No, it's good you recognize that, and it's good you are coming here. That means you're really in for it and trying to catch up. Um, you know we have the recordings of our sessions, right? So I'm sure you
Yeah.
can review them in case you miss that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You them in case you miss that. Yeah.
yeah. I
But
try to follow up with that.
mhm, yeah. But today night, I think it will be today night for you, which will be morning. We are doing the global infrastructure. It's an interesting topic. I think it will be nice. Yeah, if you can make it as well, that would be good. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Nice seeing you. Joe, I noticed you came back. It seems your line was disturbing. Except it's boring. Jacob, good afternoon. Nice seeing you.
Is the thing.
Sorry?
Thank you very much, Ban. Struggling
Nice.
to see where to remove my mic. Maybe it was even on.
No, no, it was not. It just came on.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mhm.
It's good to see everyone, and thank you for the wonderful presentation.
Yeah, good. So, I don't know if Joe, I wanted to find out if you have looked at I know you are doing the solutions architect associate exam readiness on skills builder. If you can, if you are there, I wanted to find out if you could share, if you can comment on what you've seen so far. It seems, yeah, Joe is not there. So, as usual, right. So, not much from my end, but I'm just thinking of what else we can do before the 30 minutes go over. If anyone has a question on based on the lab we did, maybe if you want to just address question again still on I am users, I am groups, roles. Yeah, we can do a short demo just to keep everyone in the same level. If anyone has something in that area, we can talk about that. Yeah, because we still have some time. Or I can just go get my console ready and then see what to do.
Yeah, let me just share an experience. Maybe you might have some people with this thing. You really have to be serious with these classes. Take them as if you're taking a board exam to like a GCE exam or something. I know most of us are from Cameroon. Because I have this is almost like the fourth or fifth time which I've been doing this class, the associate, even the professional. I've just been doing it round and round because I didn't have. I was doing it that much, so I overwhelmed myself with the information. Then when I've overwhelmed myself with the information, I will start picking, start organizing the information now in my mind to see what's going on. But along the line, I got too much overwhelmed that I became brain fatigued with the information. So that's why I decided to back up now, and I am so happy that Dr. Banjika is organizing this where right now you really have to be practicing those labs. If you were doing it over and over and over and over, it will be easier for you to go back to the slides and look at them. Then you will master this thing. It's not really the thing is the language is different for most of us. But if you familiarize yourself with the thing by doing it, because if you just follow the lectures and you wait for the next class, you will be really caught up, and you will not be able to understand the whole thing because it's gonna catch up to you. So it's good to practice the lab over and over. Watch other videos and other things so that when you come to class, you already have a pre-idea, a knowledge of what they're talking. Then when they're explaining now, you have it clarifies what is a little cloudy in you.
Mhm, mhm. Great. Thanks for sharing that
That's a
experience.
good one.
Yeah. Go ahead, Yolanda. Yeah.
Yes, I was just saying that I really agree with what he has just said, that you really need to to be serious. It doesn't mean that you should overwhelm yourself. For those who are working, you just need to be organized. You have to be consistent. For instance, if you say, I'm going to put in 2 hours every day, it might happen that there is a day that you are not able to do cloud, but just make sure that you don't go for 2 continuous days without putting an eye on something, you know.
Yes.
And if possible, try to look at the topic, because I think Banjika always has a planning already. Try to look at the topic the night before the classes, so that you should be able to follow up. You look at it before, and then you attend your classes, you look at it after. And then coupled with the hands-on experience, I think everything will be okay. And please don't be shy to ask questions. There is no stupid question here. We are all, you know, we come from the same similar background. We understand where we are coming from. There are some people who don't have any IT background. So please don't compare yourself with others and shy away from asking questions. Always bring your questions forward. There's going to be somebody who is going to help answer your questions. So yeah, that's what I wanted to chip in.
Thanks so much for that, Jolan. Hope they capture that. And thanks so much, Dr. Manubu, for bringing that and sharing your experience. I hope everyone also starting picks that up. Thanks so much. Yeah. I noticed, Titus, you have your hand up before we continue. I think we can address your concern as well. Titus, are you there?
Yeah. Greetings to everyone.
Greetings. Yeah.
Are you guys getting me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on the lab session we had last time, and equally when I go through my notes, I have a bit confusion. I have some confusion to actually understand the concept between a role and policy. So sometimes it looks to me as if it's almost the same thing. It's the same. If you ask me to define a role, I can define it. If you ask me to define a policy, I can define it. But actually knowing what it is, knowing in myself, what is it? What is it? It's a bit tricky to me. So I started trying to put some analogy on how I can put like sometime back in our country, sometimes I always say, let me say in pidgin that that's my policy there. We usually use that type of phrases. That's my policy there. I need to deal with. That is my policy. As I don't talk my way there. I try to say. Let me try to gather some. Is it the same policy? Are we talking here in cloud, or is it the same? And when it comes to role, I just want to know. You know, when we go in an occasion, they say your own role here now for say me people they pass this side or something like that. Your own role, I say maybe they control people. They go for shit over back page, all that stuff. So I'm always working about that. And when I try to come into the cloud world, it is not actually going.
Something else.
So my question is this: if you say in a company, when an employer employs somebody that is an employee, is it? I can say it's a user, right?
It's a user when someone comes.
Yeah.
Right? And
it's a user.
Yeah.
So that is how I'm trying to build myself. I say, okay, this is a user. Okay, that company has 3 users, and they decide to say, okay, 3 of you, we have gathered you guys together to do something. We come now to a group now. We have grouped them. Now I want to use the policy and the role. When they group them, let us say they have grouped them now, and then they're saying that we have grouped you people, you guys, let me say in the construction, they say you guys are going to be the one digging. Let's say the foundation, the group, you guys will be the diggers. And then they say maybe the other one, you guys will be the one building the blocks. So now I try to understand that. Then they say the policy now. What is the policy now?
Okay.
If they group together and give us a tax, is that tax our role? Are we supposed to be digging? That is our role. Then the second question comes in now. What is the policy now?
No.
That is a policy error that I'm confusing. Okay. Then I try to ask myself, let's say, for example, if the one who has the project or who is the one who is controlling the job, say to those who are digging that, my dimension that I've given to you guys is, let's say, 30 by 40. I started asking myself, if that the architect who is controlling the job say our role is digging, and they are giving us the dimension, is that his policy they want us to maintain? That we have to dig 13 by 40. Is it what he want us to do? So I just wanted to put it here. Is it actually the message behind that policy and role?
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me add another. Let me also add to that question to what he's saying.
That's fine.
To see if I might also my thinking is also wrong. The way I look at it is, I don't know if it's right. You have three users. Each of them have different role within the company. Say, example, one is a manager, one is a supervisor, then one is a staff, a floor staff. Each of them have different level of access. So when you're registering them, giving them access, you can that policy guides their ability to access certain information or to access certain things. If you notice, when you're using those three users, one of them had ability to either terminate or do something, but the other ones did not have. That is because of their specific role within the company. Like a normal staff on the floor will not have certain access, while the say user three, who is a high level or a mid-level staff, will have more access to certain areas than the user who has limited access. I think that's the way I was understanding it. I don't know if that's
No.
okay.
You're just quite on track, and I really want to thank Titus for bringing that question on that topic, because yeah, it's always a very challenging area for people starting. So I really commend you for coming up and bringing and trying to explain the way you have done. I'll try to maintain building that analogy, trying to have the analogy you are having in your mind is good, because when you can remember it in terms of an analogy, it becomes easy to always remember it. And for everyone, as you study, if you are able to take what we are learning and find an analogy in real life, the understanding will be very better. I'm going to answer that question. And I noticed that the concept of role there, this role, just like Maribo was explaining and using the concept, different people can have different roles in a company, right? So at this instance, the role we are talking is not the one, the definition as you have it in AWS. That concept comes when you are having like the different access levels that you mentioned. Then there's the role in AWS also, but it has a special meaning, and we are going to look that special meaning. Is still a role is like an identity, right, with particular permissions. So Titus, back on your question, let's just take the fundamentals and just look at and what on those different elements. And I am user, and I am group, and an I am role, right? An I am user is an identity, right, that could represent a user. An I am group is a collection of users, and then an I am role is an identity as well with specific permissions. So think of an I am role. Let me just see if I can bring up the different definitions that we have. Just that everyone capture that. Then I'll go and try to make the analogy based on what you are using. So if you notice, an I am user is a resource in I am that has associated credentials and permissions. Now, what are the key thing there is credentials. So when you have, there are two things: authentication and authorization. Now, when you have users, they need to authenticate. Authenticate is they need to have access, like they need to have access to the system. Like when you have a username and password, you can have access to a system, right? But after you have access, the next thing is authorization. What are you allowed to do? Which is now the different levels of permission. So it's the same like if someone walks into there are different permissions for different people. So if you look at the company, you may have human resources. Someone working in human resources have different permissions. You know, it's allowed to do can do different things. Someone who is like who is working, let's say, in the IT department, the permissions that they are given is different. So when you think of policy as a set of permissions, right? So you have the I am user who when he gets who needs to authenticate. So you always give credentials, which can be, if the person is logging in on the management console, as we did deal with how to interact with the management console. It could be through how to interact with AWS resources. It could be through the management console. It could be through the CLI or through the software development kit. So credentials give you access, and that gives you the possibility to authenticate. And then the policy gives you permissions. What are you allowed to do? So always relate a policy to a set of permissions that you can perform. And then relate, then credentials is like username and password. Then the role is just a special, let me see if I have that. The role is just a special identity, and it is used in specific cases, right? An IAM role is an IAM identity that you can create in your account that has specific permissions. And as we go ahead, we'll get to know more about a role. So just to come back in that situation where you are trying to talk about builders and the work they are doing, I'll try to see if I can bring an analogy so that you can understand. So imagine in a building site, right? Now you have many people who have to come and walk to that building site. Imagine that building site have a gate, right? So to come through that gate, maybe you need to show your badge. Your badge is the credentials, right? So we have a big building site. There are many people who have to come and access through a particular gate. And imagine what are the type of people that are going to that gate. There may be people who are going to be working in maybe laying the foundation. There are some people who are making the bricks. There may be some people who are carrying the cement. There's someone who is a manager who is overseeing everybody. So when they reach the gate, so all of them will come. No, now someone is allowed to pass through the gate if they show their badge, right? So they can authenticate. So the badge is your credentials that gives you that possibility to get into the site. So you have access to the site. You can pass through the gate. And people will be passing with different, there are people who come with different, they'll have to be doing different sort of jobs. Be it, as I've explained, some of them are molding blocks, some of them are building the foundation, some of them are managers overseeing everybody. So when they pass through that gate, in passing through that gate, they are given, let's say, before just passing through that gate, a policy is attached to them, right? So someone who is a manager, the different permissions or the different things he can do will be attached to him. And then when he passes that gate, maybe he have access to all areas. Then someone who is passing that gate, who is just making, let's say, making the blocks, a permission will be passed to him. And the only function he will do once in the site is just to mold the blocks. So that is how, but to be able to receive the permissions, remember policy is, IAM policy is permissions. For that person to be able to receive those permissions, they first of all have to authenticate with the credentials, which was the badge. So when you pass with your badge, your a policy is given. When a manager pass is given, then you get into the site, you can then do specific jobs. That is people. Now imagine that inside the, now I'm going to try to see if I can bring an analogy for an IAM role, right? Imagine that inside the building site, right, there are some particular devices that need to communicate with each other. So I'm just trying to think of, imagine, I don't know, could it be a truck? I don't know what kind
a cement mixer need to communicate with concrete.
Right.
And wheelbarrows and
right.
spades. Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Thanks, Joachim. So imagine a cement barrow, right? That these are like tools that can work on their own without human intervention. Imagine a cement machine that's mixing the concrete, has to communicate with a machine that maybe is bringing that. So what you do is, because everything needs access and needs permission. So you then set a particular IAM role, and put it on, let's say, on the machine that is going to be mixing the concrete, such that it will have permission to maybe access another machine that is dropping, let's say, the sand. Let's say when it needs sand, depending on how it's set, it will have that. So you see, the IAM role is for machines that are working in the site. And at times people can take those roles, but the first thing you can think of is for machines. And if we go back to AWS, that's why we are given an example that an EC2, for example, may want to communicate
Hello, yes.
with an S3 bucket. So that's the case where you have an IAM role can be attached to that EC2, and then it will talk to the S3 bucket. So in summary, an IAM role is an identity that can be given to a user, and then an IAM role, an IAM group is help to group different people. So you have many people who are working in the concrete department, in the molding department, you put them in a group such that rather than giving permissions to individuals, you just give to people in that group. An IAM policy is in charge of defining what you are allowed to do, kind of permissions. What are the permissions you have? And then an IAM role is just a special identity that you can give it to resources in AWS. Yeah. I don't know if that help Titus. I don't, or if there's still any question you can bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm clear. I'm clear.
Titus, okay. Titus says it's clear. Great. Great. Thanks so much for that question. It's a good and if anyone has a mix up on that, we can discuss that. So I wanted to, I think, just bring that up again. So if you were to, let's look at IAM permissions and rules in, where am I? Am I sharing my screen? Okay. No. So let me share this. So when you go to, like, when you sign in, right? And you go to IAM. Right. So when you sign in and you go to IAM, IAM is identity and access management. So it's in charge of the service that's in charge for users, roles, and policies. So you see users is listed separate. You have roles, right? You can create separate roles. So a role is just an identity that also still needs permission. You have policies. And if you click on policies, you see in the area of policies, remember policies, just always think of policies as a set of permissions. When we talk of policies, a set of permissions, what are you allowed to do? And AWS always provides separate permissions such that if I were to create, if you, just like the lab we are doing that Lady N presented on Friday, it had, you remember we had different users that were assigned to different groups. So for example, let's say if it's in a company and someone is hired and the major role of that person is to work with EC2, right? This is a policy that can be attached to that person. So AWS already have, when you provide this policy, such that if you create a particular user, you can assign this policy. So what that person will be allowed to do once they have signed into AWS is to only do things that are around EC2. So and we try to, I'm not sure everyone can see this. Well, I don't know if yeah. So it's a bit I'm trying to maximize that and I'm using, let me see. So we did talk about but not in detail, the syntax or the structure of a policy, right? If you notice, the version is always this, and then separated with a comma, then you have a series of statements. And statements always starts with a curly brackets, close with a curly brackets, and it states the action, the effect, and the resource. When you see star, it means everything. Action is on EC2. Allow means, you know, as it says, allow, it could be deny. But with the course that, for example, that you short goes ahead to deal with that as well in detail. So that could be a good recommendation. And also the links that I shared, I think also touches on that. But just to show that this is how you, this is how you get access to, this is how you get if you're on AWS, you can go out and you're able to access the different policies. And you can also create your own policies, right? So if you look at the ones that AWS have provided and you are not satisfied with it, or if you have a particular function, right, that you need a different combination, you can then write your own policies. And actually you have, customers do that. If you notice this AWS manage, there's customer manage, the ones that are created. Yeah. So I hope that bring more, right? Someone couldn't see my screen. Can you see now? Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can see it.
Great. Okay.
I think I'll just leave and join back. I can't see.
So this is an important area. Users, where you create users. We already did that practice. Rules, where you create rules and policies as well. So any question on that? Again on I like that. Any question again on IAM role, IAM policy, users, groups? Always remember best practices are around IAM as well, right? We did have a question addressing that. So I can only encourage that when you learn. Okay, and then before we have 7 minutes to go, I've noticed that Titus, one of your questions was about the last time we were talking, you were talking about assigning the MFA on a user, right? Right. Let me show that. Okay, let me share up my screen. And then, Titus, are you there? I can't
Yes,
hear you.
I'm with you.
Okay. Right. Okay. So talking about assigning an MFA, a multi-factor authenticator on an account. So once you sign in on AWS, you go to the top right here. You can click on the drop down button and come to security credentials, right? So when you come to security credentials, you come down and okay, I can assign because I already have one, but normally when you come down here, you have assigned MFA. In this situation, I already have one that is already assigned, so I cannot, I'll need to look for, but what you should do is sign in on your account, scroll down, come to security credentials, and then come to multi-factor authentication area, and then click to add the multi-factor authenticator. You have a barcode to sign, and if you already have, I recommend that if for everybody, I explain the reason why this one is much more better, the Twilio Auth, right? Because you can have it in many devices, such that if you don't have one, you will still have access. Because then if you have this already installed, let's say on your computer, or you have it on your handy, the app is available. You can install the desktop one, you can install it on your app. I have it in at least 3 different devices. So, and then the thing is, you just need to always update only in one, and it will synchronize on all the other ones. So once you come to security, to the multi-factor area, you click to add one, and then the numbers will come up that you will then add to your device. Yeah, I don't know if that helps. Just try that, Titus, and let's see if you'll succeed. Yeah.
Yeah, but before you do that, you have to first of all install the app in your device, in both devices, your phone and your laptop, right?
You can just install it first. You just need to install it in one place first, like your laptop, right? And then go ahead. Let me see. Is it better now? I think someone is saying low volume. So you need to install the, let me see, Twilio Auth. I think I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
It's a very good, yes, if you go to TLOT and then I'm sure you can download from the site. Yeah, how to enable, it has a video, it has a YouTube video. Let me put that on our chat as well. So if you come and you download it and then yeah, then you can then see, you can use that only on your computer, and then if you want, once you are, when you go to your, if you install it, if you install it on your phone as well, when you are installing, it will ask you if you have another device already. If you accept, it will just automatically bring that to you, so you don't need to repeat it in every device. You just need to update in one device. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We are 2 minutes to time. I think that's all we could cover, and I don't know if there's any question or point again to bring up for us. Yvonne, you came and just stayed quiet. Let me call you out. We didn't hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and welcome to the new members. I've not been here for some time now.
Right.
So yeah.
Nice having you.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. It was another great session. It's already top of the hour. We'll be meeting back on Monday and Tuesday for the practitioner. Just remember to read global infrastructure in the assignment, and yeah, then we'll do databases on Tuesday. Just look at that. Then yeah, before you come to the lectures. Then for the associate, I'm not sure who is presenting on.
I think I'm presenting on Thursday.
Presenting on Thursday, good. Okay. We're looking forward to that, and then we'll have our lab session. Yeah, on what we have done. We could cover different aspects of the global infrastructure for the lab session, right? So we can just show, yeah, the different regions, availability zones, or the aspects, other aspects of topics we'll cover. Okay, great. So thanks everyone. I think we can.
I see Chadwick says I have a story about presentations.
That is true. She has a testimony to make about presentations. Please come out with that testimony.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just something I mentioned to them about during our study time about presentations, like just to encourage everyone who wants to make presentations. That is something which is very good. No one should shy away from that, because when you do a presentation, what the topic you present, it stays with you forever. You know,
Exactly.
When I started my cloud journey, I knew nothing in the cloud, really nothing. And during those days of presentation, when I had to do a presentation, it was like I had to think about it the whole night. But this place where we are is like the best place to be. Like a place, if you have never felt free somewhere, this is the best place to feel free. Because when you ask anything, you are given the answer. Nobody looks at the other person the other way, like as if you knew nothing. Because most people who are here, they start from the beginning. So with talking on the point of presentations, like when you are given a topic to present, just feel free to present it and don't be shy, because what you present stays with you forever. My testimony, like I did a presentation on monitoring CloudWatch, CloudTrail. Until today, when they talk about monitoring, I am really, I start thinking. And I start thinking my thoughts go directly to when I did the presentation and what I saw, and yeah, the details are still there. So if you have anything about presentation, please don't be shy, just go for it. In the beginning, it's going to be very frightful, really,
Yeah.
but it's going to stay in you, and it's something really positive, which I encourage everybody to do. And
Yeah.
and sometimes, even if you know something, just try to explain to your just try to explain to the next person, like to your group mate, and it's going to stick in your head.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah.
Very, very positive tips from
Yeah.
How could you want to go away with that testimony?
That was
when now you are answering topic-based questions as if you know you are drunk the cloud or you are drunk the topics in water. That is the message you ought to have given to those who will be preparing now, so that they can know the impact that will mean to them tomorrow. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming with that.
Okay, thank you, Chadley.
And just to add, I remember the day when you had to present and you called me so frightened.
Yeah.
So it's normal, right? That's what we were saying. People coming here, it's possible you can be so afraid, so worried. But once you overcome that fear, the question becomes, what was you really afraid of? Why were you?
Yeah. And you become so confident in such a way that even if you are talking, because like your group mates, the people you are studying with now, that's already your family, because you are going to be meeting every day. Okay, now you meet twice a week, but there is a time that you will meet every day
for preparations. Yeah.
for preparations, to prepare for the exams. Even if you are not meeting at the practitioner, you will meet at the solution architect or at the professional. So they are just like your own little family that you form together. Yeah. And you have to feel, we are striving to work in companies. That's everybody's dream, in the cloud. Yeah, we are striving to work in the cloud, in a strange environment, like in a company where you are not very familiar with the people. So if you have to feel free with the people you are with now, in order to familiarize yourself, so that if you are when you are already working in that environment, you'll be able to
make use of those skills. Yeah.
Yes, you already have those presentation skills or those communication skills, that you just feel free and just put it out there.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Yvonne. And before you are coming, we are, for those who are interested, we are planning to have WirfonCloud tea session or puff session. We will pick 1 week of the day every evening. Apart from discussing the cloud, people who just want to meet people and discuss and laugh, we just have the Zoom link open for an hour or two. And yeah, because we come and we talk, some people, so that's just to help bring more interaction. And because with that interaction, we get very comfortable with everyone. And then, yeah, I think it will be helping bringing up as a family. So think about that. And for those interested, when the time comes, we'll put up that up. Yeah. And we hope to have more jokes and laughter. So when we come, and someone else will lead, or anyone else can lead that. Is going to be just free. So no formality, just a time to laugh.
I think I hope during that time we are going to see people's faces, because it's like it's like they're only ghosts in here. And
Lady T was not here today, so everyone's surviving. Lady T was here, cameras will have been on again. So
yeah,
it's true. So we'll try to have session to really get to link up with people and know them better as well. Yeah. So
I mean, Uncle, why not just to think of suggesting what's the problem, deciding a day now, or is it going to take too long? Or
okay, you're already ready. You're already in for it, and you want it as soon as possible. You want it very soon,
I
okay.
don't know.
Okay,
Yes.
I know you're already in for it. Sorry, Mike, come in. Okay, Tio will come to that. Yeah, so we'll bring that up. Yeah. But if people, we'll come to that. Mike, go ahead. If I see your hand up.
Okay. Oh, Ivan, thank you for that story. I just wanted to add to that. regarding presentations. You can, whenever you're presenting, you can say, oh, you do bad, because from that point, that's the worst you could be. You can only get better from that point going forward. So you use that as a means to practice as well. So just look at it as that's the lowest you can be from there. From that point, you can only get better going forward. So no one should be scared of presenting, regardless of the scenario. It doesn't have to be only here. It can be in other events, other places. Use that as a practice session. Just wanted to add that as well.
Super. Thanks for that. That's very encouraging, and hope it keeps everyone free. And remember, again, we are here to support and motivate and inspire. So that will be what we'll do. We'll support as much as we can. Yeah. Okay. No, thanks everyone for the input and the conversation we have had today. It's another great session. We'll be coming back definitely already by Monday. We can leave here and wishing everyone, I think those in America, a nice day as we go along, and a nice evening and great week ahead for everyone. So bye, let's leave it here.
Okay,
Prissy,
bye.
thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.